Shabbat Shalom. I get to give some announcements and welcome folks. Are we glad that Third Baptist is in the house? We are just so pleased to have this 37th pulpit exchange and have a chance to be together and be as a community of sharing and respect and seeing the beauty in each other and reaching out to other communities as well. I'm Rabbi Jonathan Singer. If you don't know me, we have a lot of rabbis and cantors at Congregation Emanu-El. But none of this would happen if we didn't have lay leaders who really guide us. And so we are so glad to have our two presidents, Ellen Fleischacker and Joel Ruscher. Will you stand up and just let the group greet you here? They make it all happen. Whenever you have a problem with the clergy, except me, talk to them, okay? Well, you have a lot of announcements as well on this sheet, and you can see what's going on. But just to point out, on February 16th, Sakal Kanakovsky will be here. She is the first Ethiopian Jewish leader of the Jewish Agency coming to represent the Jewish community in Israel, and she'll be here. We have coming up as well on, I believe, February 1st. It's very hard, but so important to welcome them, survivors of the attack on October 7th from Kibbutz Be'eri. They'll be here in our synagogue on February 1st, and please come meet them and hear from their experience. Wasn't Cantor Luck amazing up here just a moment ago? Oh my gosh. Cantor Addie, she's just such a blessing and amazing too. All this that's happening. And they're putting on a concert, Kolenu. When is it, you guys?
February 6th, 7 o'clock.
It's going to be happening here, so we hope you'll come and be engaged with that. And it's not often a rabbi tells you to go to church. Go to church this Sunday and hear Rabbi Beth Singer teach there and hear these choirs and engage. Again, there's so much going on. And as Rabbi Beth said, it continues beyond this pulpit exchange. But out there in the foyer, besides the food, there's a chance for you to sign up and be involved with Back on Track and get involved and help teach kids and help engage and help build the future. Or be part of our Black Jewish Unity group and be in dialogue. There's not enough dialogue out there in the world. And have a chance to hear each other. Well, there's that opportunity for you. Now, in the Parsha this week, Moses tells God, I'm not sure if I can speak so clearly. And what does God say to Moses? I will find in every generation people who will be able to give my message. Well, we are so blessed to have Reverend Amos Brown giving that message, a message of hope and clarity and justice and compassion. He's been our essential partner all these 37 years through this pulpit exchange. For Rabbi Beth Singer and I, this is our last year as senior rabbis. Reverend Brown, you've been the best. You've been one who's invited us to engage in the dialogue of hope and stand with each other. And who helps him stand up so well? Jane Brown, who's right over here. Can you guys give a hand to Mrs. Brown? We're so glad that she's in our house. We really are. Yeah. Well, we say we want synagogues and churches to be a third place, to be an extension of your home. And Reverend Brown, we hope that you feel that Congregation Emanu-El is an extension of your home. And we want to welcome you now to this pulpit and to hear your word of clarity and hope. Give a hand to Reverend Amos Brown.
Good evening. gathering of the human families in this place. The Lord is in this place. Emanu-El, God dwelling in us. That's your name. But you ought to stick your chest out, Temple Emanu-El, and let the buttons fall off with sensible pride. Because you have wrought a miracle. We don't have to depend just on the Maker to work miracles. You, Third Baptist, are a living miracle. Miracles represent extraordinary things happening. Veering away from the pedestrian, the bland, the usual. But for two congregations from two distinct traditions to hang together for 37 years, it is a miracle. You ought to give yourselves big applause. And in this body of miracle workers, I say to you, I could not in good conscience come here and leave this sacred place without acknowledging the presence of several personalities. Everybody's somebody here, but there are those who have won the right to be acclaimed as people of distinction. First of all, the mother of many interfaith, intercultural, and international feats, the one and only Sister Rita Simbel, 102 years old. Give it up for Sister Rita Simbel. Come on, you can do it better than that. "102 years old," I repeat. And she was the moving spirit behind the founding of the Interfaith Council of San Francisco. You know, a lot of these faith traditions have been held on many feet. But to bring together these diverse faith communities is no feat to ignore. And I will forever be indebted to you, Mother Rita, for how you have, with pit bulldog determination, though short in stature, but she is a giantess in work, in integrity, in love, and in peace. And we thank you for being there with us always. And again, to underscore that we have an unusual and outstanding track record, for we made many friends along this journey. And it is mine to say, Brother Larry Bear, won't you stand up too? From the San Francisco Giants. Back on track, Tinley Academy, Friday Night Live, are able to come together for creative endeavors music, learning, fun, and fellowship. Because Brother Larry was responsible for the acquisition of 2 vans. We ought to salute that right now and thank God. And Brother Phil Ginsburg, I believe, is in the house. Where are you, Phil? Thank God for his great labors across the waiting span of the years to make sure that Golden Gate Park is a decent, clean, and attractive place for us to gather for times of fun and relaxation. We can never say too much about the fact that my old friend is in this audience. She and I have the distinction of being a freedom rider. But it was in 1961 in my hometown of Jackson, Mississippi, that we met up with Carol Ruth Silver. Where are you? There she is. Former member of the Board of Supervisors of the city and county of San Francisco. To all the members of the rabbinic order, and to our cantor, who just gave us a wonderful rendition of that melodious solo, Brother Locke, give him a big hand. And how privileged and blessed I am to acknowledge Brother Ryan Bauer. Where are you? Here you are. Who is a quiet yet powerful servant leader. We are working together now so that we will be able to bring some common sense compassion to this matter of dealing with the unhoused in this city and county of San Francisco. And my dear wife has been acknowledged. Where are you, Jane? Stand up over here to my left. And her sister and brother in love, Dr. and Mrs. Isaiah Morrison. Please stand. Now let all the good members, led by Deacon Alfonso Campbell, chairperson of our Deacons Ministry, please stand. Outgoing chairperson. Give him a big hand. And the incoming chairperson, Brother Reginald Chapman. Give him a big applause. And I believe that Miss Janetta Mitchell, is she here? Chairperson of our Christian Education Ministry. In her absence, give her a big applause. Now let all the members of our Back on Track enterprise stand. Back on track. Staff and those who are here. And let me say here parenthetically that we are recruiting tutors Governor Sid Smith and others. Our compliments, Brother Jeremiah Haynes. Stand up again, Brother Jeremiah. This is the grandson of my old classmate, one and only, inimitable Dr. Jeremiah Wright, Pastor Emeritus of Trinity United Church of Christ of Chicago, Illinois. I won't hold you too long tonight, but there's a scripture that's a burden on me. And it's from Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. My people perish because of a lack of knowledge. My people perish because of a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. And my subject is read, baby, read, and learn, baby, learn. Look at your neighbor and say, read, baby, read, and learn, baby, learn. Isaac Asimov said this in 1980, that America would perish because there were too many ignorant people in America. Now, I didn't say that. I wouldn't insult you. But I'm just quoting this great scholar who stated, I repeat, in 1980, that America was ignorant. And that for the most part, we did not use our heads for anything more than a hat rack. The United Negro College Fund slogan is, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And we are on the precipice of the destruction of this nation because we have not maintained a quality, humble appreciation for enlightenment and knowledge. Well, that's what all this controversy is about now with Mr. DeSantis wanting to be president of this nation. But what has he done, beloved? He has wrapped his candidacy up into the silly notion that black people in particular and people in general should have a quick romance with Alzheimer's and dementia. Saying, don't look back at history. Don't read certain books. Don't let children sing. Lift every voice and sing. Till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. This is what this man, whom you have seen on television, invading your privacy, telling us in America that we ought to forget about our history. But I got news for you. If you don't know history, you and I will repeat the mistakes and the blunders of history. Oh, what an unfortunate and sad statement it was the other day. Somebody said that the Holocaust was a made-up alternative fact. You heard it. And there are those who are still saying, don't have a Sankofa moment. Don't look back. But out of their Khan language and legacy, there's a bird called the Sankofa bird. A bird that looks back in order to go forward with an egg in its mouth and symbolizing you will not have pregnant possibilities for a bright future if you don't first know where you came from. Or you will not have a dream of where you ought to be going. So I've come tonight just to suggest to you that we ought to read, baby, read. And learn, baby, learn. For this will be the salvation of this nation. Oh, Hosea said it right. A long time ago, you remember Hosea the prophet? You remember the story of this woman who was not faithful? And yet, what does the prophet say? Even though you done wrong, you ought to make up, kiss up, and go on and be reconciled to one another. And what the point was in the book of Hosea was that in that day, Israel had not proven faithful to God. But not only had Israel not proven faithful, but Israel did not have a respect for knowledge. For knowledge. And since we are talking about read, baby, read, and I'm going to ask Third Baptist to keep quiet. For you had an early session of this. How many of you have heard of Reverend Josiah Henson? Josiah Henson. Josiah Henson. Josiah Henson. How many of you heard of Reverend Josiah Henson? Well, you made F- tonight. Beloved, this is the autobiography of the man who was the real Uncle Tom in the flesh. He was born in 1789 at Port Tobacco County, Maryland, where Bethesda, Maryland is located, just spitting distance from the White House. Born enslaved. And one day while on a plantation there in Port Tobacco County, this overseer caught him with a spelling book in his hand. And he approached him and said, "Where did you get that spelling book from?" He said, "I bought it." "How did you buy it?" "From selling fruit at the market in Washington. This overseer, beloved, grabbed a cane and beat this 13-year-older unmercifully. And he was handicapped for the rest of his life because of that beating. And, Sister Rita, even though he was enslaved, he lived to be 93 years old. Was enslaved for 45 years. But he fled from that plantation. Ended up in Kentucky, from Kentucky to Cincinnati, Ohio. And this man, this Methodist preacher, this black preacher, happened to have been at the right place at the right time when a young lady named Harriet Beecher Stowe was there seeing her father. Who was her father? Lyman Beecher, the great theologian and preacher who was president of Lane College. And one Sunday morning, hear me this evening, she heard somebody talking about an enslaved person named Tom, who was a model of love, of compassion, of being concerned about others. And if he didn't have a heart of love, he wouldn't have gotten cotton from his sack and put it in the sack of one person who didn't pick his or her quota for the day and be subject to being beaten. If someone was sick and famished, could not chop that cotton, finish that roll, Brother Tom would stop what he was doing and chop the cotton so someone else would not be a victim of brutal beating. His own father was beaten 100 lashes, hear me, because he would not let this man, the overseer, rape his wife. But I won't stop with that. All the pain, the anguish. But if you read, baby, read. If you learn, baby, learn. You will discover that Reverend Henson fled up to Don, Ontario, Canada. And he acquired 200 acres of land. And on that land, he established a school and an economically surviving community where they sold timber around the world. You've heard a lot about Harriet Tubman, and we're just now getting to the point in America of honoring her image to be put on a coin. Now, it was supposed to have been a $20 bill and was supposed to remove that fellow Andrew Jackson, that racist, that brutal man who was mean to the Native Americans and was an enslaver. But we're thanking for that $50 coin. Some is better than nothing. But the point that I'm making here by citing all of this is to say that Josiah Henson led 118 people to freedom because he had in his heart what Third Baptist and Temple Emanu-El have had these 37 years in our hearts. And that is to come together across racial and religious lines and say we ain't going to let nobody turn us around. And we're going to love on each other, have each other's back, and make sure that when one suffers, we all suffer. When one is generalized on, we will speak the truth. When one is defamed, we will be builders and not destroyers. And if you follow the great legacy and the model of Josiah Henson, you will also discover that this man, before the Civil War, went to London, England, twice. He met with Queen Victoria, had an audience with her, and he met the Archbishop of Canterbury. And when he met the Archbishop said to him, after they exchanged his pleasantries, "My, you are such an eloquent Negro. Where did you go to school?" He said, "I went to the University of Adversity." He said, "Well, how did you come to the faith? How did you become a believer?" He said, "Because my mother taught me the Lord's Prayer." And I never forgot that line that was in that prayer, that model prayer, that said, "Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven." And after he had engaged the Archbishop wept profusely and gave him 50 pounds. And he never forgot what God did through him. And I'm pleading tonight, let us wake up. Let us read. Let us learn so that we will save this nation. For if you look and listen to a lot of stuff that's being talked about, these alternative facts, made up stuff. You got one person who has lied so much that he would lie if the truth was in his favor. Say amen, somebody. For that prophet from Nazareth said a long time ago, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall do what? Set you free." And we got to get rid of these half-truths, y'all, about what all this noise and fuss is about regarding abortion. Yes, some would have you to believe, if you don't read and get the facts, that they have reverence for life. But I got news for you. If you read, baby, leave, baby, and if you learn, baby, learn, you will discover that a eugenicist named Edward Ross, right down here at Stanford University in 1891, coined the phrase racial suicide. And what was his theory about? White women having more babies. Else, and it's all listed in a book entitled The Death of Satan by Del Banco up at Columbia University. He said if they didn't have more babies, the Jews, the blacks, and the yellow folk will outnumber us. In 1884, what was the platform for the Democratic National Convention? White women having more babies. And when Mr. Environmentalist, Mr. Theodore Roosevelt was president, he delivered a paper entitled True Americanism. And what did he say? He said that any white woman who didn't have more babies should be considered a criminal. A criminal. Why am I citing all this? since we're about back on track, since we're about education, since we're about enlightenment, to say it is our moral obligation, it is our responsibility to get rid of all these misstatements about our humanity. For people tend to fear each other because they hate each other. They hate each other because they do not know each other. And they do not know each other because of a lack of communication. But we have been communicating. We have been a family working together. And I trust and pray that we will hold our hope and with pit bulldog determination keep on reading and keep on learning. And we will in the process discover that if we do not read Gibbon's book, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire, if we close our eyes to what's happening around us politically, and how there are forces that are trying to push us into a fascist state and nation, if we don't read and tell everybody, we shall perish from this earth. For the book does say, my people perish because of a lack of knowledge. Of knowledge. So let's be great students and good students. And if you don't hear me no more, I tell you, if we would just read, baby, read, and learn, baby, learn, the day will come, as I always say, and let it hang on your mind, that we will all be able to say, I'm black and I'm proud. I'm brown and I'm sound. I'm yellow and I'm mellow. I'm red, but I ain't dead. I'm white, but I'm all right. I'm gay, but I'm godly. I'm straight, but I'm sensible. I'm a woman, but I'm wise. I'm an immigrant, but I am industrious. God bless you. Let's learn. Let's read. And God will be pleased with us.